Well, it's kind of some of this. Welcome back to Shiitake News. I'm glad to have you. Always happy to have guests late at night. No pun intended. First off, we're not gonna talk about the illness going around the world. It's gotten bad, and there's things we need to talk about, but not tonight. Tonight we're gonna keep it straight about politics. First off, is judges or judges being threatened? Schumer said some comments, and they're threats. They are threats, but they're not violent threats. They're not like he's threatening to hurt them or anything. He's just threatening their who knows what he's threatening, but he is making a threat. He's making promises that something bad's gonna happen to them if they vote against his ideals. And what they're voting on is a bill to have doctors be qualified, or abortion doctors have them qualified in a certain way, so that they have to register at a hospital. And what the intention of this bill was, which was actually introduced by a lady, was to make sure the medical or the doctors doing these procedures are safe and qualified. That they're basically, she's trying to keep abortion more, safe, and making sure that it's safer on the clients, ladies, I guess. But this restriction would end up closing a lot of abortion clinics who don't have a clinic nearby where they can get certified. So that's what ends up being. It's like it was intended to make them safer, but it's also intended to close down abortions. So abortion clinics, that is. And he spoke in front of an audience, and he'd made silly comments, to say the least. He threatened a judge, or two judges, Kavanaugh and the other one, that they're going to be punished. And here's him. Oh, he's expressing regret afterwards, but he made two comments that both judges would feel it in the long run if Gorsuch and Kavanaugh don't vote the way he wants them to vote. And that's a threat. You're gonna feel in the long run this and that. And he's caught up in the moment. He's giving a speech. He's all fired up. But the thing about this is that too many times they get off with these statements that can be construed to violence, or encourage people to do something against these two judges. And they usually get like a pass. But this time somebody's calling on like, hey, that's a threat. You can't say that. And he had to actually walk them back. I'm pretty sure he expected to not have to walk these comment backs. I'm sure he was expected to be applauded and cheered. What a crusader. He's fighting for whatever, for his ideals. But not this time. And I'm glad to see, if it needs to be debated, let it be debated. If it needs to be, brought to a court, let it come to a court. But these statements that encourages people to do something chaotic, or encourage them, or makes it sound like it's a threat, those aren't needed in politics. What is the judge that's appointed for life worried about? It's not like he can be attacked, or he doesn't have a re-election. He's not going for he's not raising money for any campaign. He's a judge. He was approved by the Senate, and now he sits there for life. Why would he threaten only two of the judge? There's 5 judges up there that are probably going to vote to hear this case out, and probably ask for the doctors to be registered at the clinic. Why would he only threaten those last 2? Because they're the newest members, I guess? Because they were appointed by Trump? Everything he does is to attack Trump, and making these statements to get his base fired up. It just isn't acceptable. So I'm glad he's being called out for it. He's a smart individual. He knows what he's doing. He's played the political game for years. He needs to be called out whenever he says something stupid, or something that could be construed as encouragement for violence. But those 2 articles are here. Immediately he apologized, but the damage has been done. Let's see what happens. And even some of the judges are complaining about politics. They're not politicians. They're judges. They're not there to debate Trump or to debate anyone else. Sotomayor and Ginsburg keep coming up with comments as well. They're not politicians. They're supposed to look at the law and look at the Constitution and see if it conflicts, or how it's going to be translated, or what it means, or if it's unconstitutional. That's their job. It's not really to have a debate with Trump on policy issues. He stepped over the line. He's not supposed to say anything negative about these judges as far as threats. So I hope he gets called. He gets held accountable. But this might get brushed under the. This was intended to keep women safe from getting dangerous abortions. Not that I don't think there's that many of bad abortion cases out there, but the intention was to bring up the quality of these clinics. If they can't get certified, they might not be somewhere you want to go. But we'll see where that goes. Warren ends her 2020 campaign. Finally. She probably should have ended before Super Tuesday. She lost the state she comes from. She lost it to Bernie. So many people called her Hillary with Bernie mask on. And I listened to her concession speech, I listened to her speech about dropping out of the race. And it's not bad, but she won't endorse anyone because I think she's trying to get on that B ticket, on the VP ticket. Why would you just endorse somebody when your focus is to, continue your career or improve your career? She's the type of person that would take advantage of the situation to milk it to the last drop. Write a book, raise money, endorse somebody for a favor or for something along those lines. Now these are just accusations that there's nothing to prove be right yet, but she hasn't chosen whether Bernie, the socialist, or Biden, the old school cat, who could carry her ideals better. And obviously it's going to be Bernie. If she just cares about who can execute her ideals the best, it would be Bernie. Medical for all, open borders, this and that. That would be all Bernie. Biden's more centric. Biden's more moderate. He's more of a traditional old school Democrat. He knows he voted for the wall to be built. He voted against stricter immigration policies. So that wouldn't align with her. But I'm sure if Biden offers something nice, she'll endorse him. These types of politicians are politicians through and through. Shady, lie. She's going to use all the supporters she gathered and kind of sell them off. And you'll see. This will be a conspiracy. This will be considered absolute conspiracy. There's no proof of this. It will always be a conspiracy until it's not, and then it's true. And I feel like this is one of those where she's trying to see who the better offer is. Why can't she? Does she not know these politicians? What time does she need? Why does she need to wait? Do you trust her? Do you believe she wouldn't sell you out? Watch her speech. Tell me what you think. If you feel like no, she's just so heartbroken, she never saw herself losing, that she has no idea what to do now, and she can't decide on who to endorse, I'll believe you. But if you've been watching long enough and you start to doubt and start seeing how they play these games, you should understand why I'm skeptical about it. I don't trust politicians as far as I can throw them. And she has a history of lying. And I'm sure she wants to, continue her career as a VP. I'm sure it'd be one step before becoming a president in 2024. So we'll see. But as of right now, it's just a conspiracy. You can look at both articles here. You can see her speech, and it's an emotional speech, but I strongly have my doubts. But we'll leave it at that. Republicans rooting for Sanders. Why is that? Good old Bernie. Why would they root for Sanders? And I have the article here. And they're rooting for Sanders. I think Graham's here talking about it, and he's explaining that Sanders is the more radical one. He's the one out there. He's the one that has different ideas than what most people want most people wouldn't want socialism. Socialism is really, really close to a lot of bad history lessons. There's no need to even try. It's not like we're starving on the streets right now. We're complaining that we're not as rich as the richer people. But compared to the rest of the world, we're considerably rich. Even the poorest man is considered pretty rich. If I had a 9 to 5 job and I was earning minimum wage, I'd probably still be earning more money than somebody earning mid-range wages, say in Mexico or basically any other country, which is sad. But you have to look at it from, you have to travel around the world to see how lucky we are. The water's drinkable in most states. That in itself is already a benefit that you don't have outside. I would never travel to Thailand or Philippines and drink the tap water there. That'd be terrifying. We're actually pretty wealthy, but he's hoping Biden wins because Biden is dirty. Biden has a bad history of lying. He makes mistakes all the time. He trips over his own words. He has a lot of issues that Trump is just going to eat him on. Bernie would have been yes, but Biden is the one that's winning. But Biden's not gonna do well. But Bernie would be the better. Bernie would be the better of the two, because Bernie, he's more put together than Biden is, but his ideas wouldn't fly in the U.S. Who wants to go back to a socialist country, especially considering Latinos who came from Venezuela and Cuba probably don't want to vote for to go back to that style of government. And but even if Biden wins, so what? So be it. If Biden wins, he has enough dirt on him to drag him down. He has enough. He's going to be investigated. He alluded to that too. Graham mentioned that. Oh, I'm not doing the investigation on that. Someone else is. But they're going to investigate why the vice president's son was sitting on the board of the most corrupt company in the country, and why he was being paid that ridiculous sum. So we'll see who ends up winning. But the only thing I wish Biden or Bernie would win is Bernie or Biden. Both of them are gonna lose. It doesn't matter. They're both gonna get whooped by Trump. But if Biden wins and Bernie feels cheated, Bernie supporters are kind of violent, so they're gonna go around smashing things, and Antifa was gonna feel like, oh, they've been cheated somehow. So I just hate to see things go violent for no reason, because it doesn't matter which Democrat wins. I don't think they have much of a chance versus Trump. But if Bernie wins, Biden's people is just probably gonna switch over to Trump, or vote D no matter who, vote blue no matter who. So I kind of hope Bernie wins, because I think that would be a less violent transition. And then when Trump wins, everyone wearing blue is just going to screech like they did the last time and cry out and lay down on the street and scream and try to attack people for no reason because they're wearing red hats. Politics ain't it something? That's it for me today. Go ahead and read both articles. I suggest you read as much as you can about these candidates, and I would hate myself if someday I find myself asking you not to listen to anyone but me. That's such idiotic advice. I want, if possible, listen to everyone, find every news article you can soak up, believe what you want, just gather the facts as much as you can. Thank you very much. Have a good night. お疲れ様でした。